Okay, welcome everybody to the Green Fork Food for Thought podcast. Today is podcast 4, episode 4 of Mike Verschelden and I's rundown on the foundations of fitness. So episode 1 was dealing with how to set goals, how to do that appropriately, finding your why, finding your purpose behind what you're doing. Episode 2 was, basic strength and conditioning, fitness, how to approach the gym if you're new or just trying to switch things up. Episode 3, we got a little more in depth and detail in strength training versus hypertrophy training versus endurance training. And now today, we're going to talk about high intensity interval training. We're kind of mixing it up. Hyrox is a popular thing right now. Both of us are training for the Hyrox competition that's coming up at the end of May, first week in June in New York City. So, yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that, what goes into that type of training, the results, how it feels, all that stuff. So pretty excited about this. I've never actually done a Hyrox yet. I've all the years of high intensity interval training that I've coached and done myself, but I've never actually done one of these competitions. So I'm excited. I've done Spartan races, plenty of them. I've done things, like Murph challenge and stuff like that, where, it's sort of a competition based thing or a timed thing. You want to shoot for a good time, but never a Hyrox. And I'm curious to see what competition day feels like.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Hyrox is cool. I've done one before. Well, first off, let's finish up strong. We got episode 4, baby. I'm happy to be back on. Let's go.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were talking about this before we started getting on here and talking about Hyrox and just how popular it has become too. It's like when I did my first Hyrox was in 2022 and there was maybe like 1,000 people, just under 1,000. I think Hyrox just sold out like 30 to 40,000 people.
Yeah, it's insane.
So it's definitely popular. So this style of training is also incredibly popular right now. I think there's good reason. We'll talk about like some pros and cons of like training this way versus other ways. But in my opinion, just now that I'm into my 30s and like how I'm training now compared to like my early 20s, where it was more bodybuilding style, like we were talking about before, this is a very functional approach to fitness where you're working your cardiovascular system plus the strength of your musculature endurance. So it's this hybrid approach to fitness. So it's cool. I'm excited to jam on this and talk more about it, but it is definitely it's taxing. Like
it is.
The first competition I did, like I was not prepared for it. I took about 6 weeks to prep. I was running prior to competition, but I gave myself like 6 weeks. I'm like, all right, looks like they're coming to New York City. Sign me up. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I started
right into it.
I started pushing the sled with actually I was pushing this. It wasn't even a sled. I had a box and I was stacking plates on top of it. And I didn't have enough weight to actually even get to the comp weight.
Yeah.
So I was just pushing whenever I could. And I was gassed. I mean, I did well overall, but it was challenging. So there's a lot of different, variables that are in Hyrox that you have to take into account. So the training gets really interesting.
Yeah.
We'll start jamming on that a little bit.
Yeah. Through the training, I've been training with, Rebecca at Battleground Fitness, where I coach. And we've been doing all kinds of Hyrox classes, and you'll see those gaining popularity too. I feel like every gym has Hyrox classes.
They're
affiliates, and there's so much money in Hyrox. It's crazy. But the classes I've been taking have been, full body strength, endurance, very taxing on the body. I don't necessarily feel sore in any one area, but my whole body is just very tired.
I think the word is like, I call it like systemically I'm fatigued.
Yeah.
Like my nervous, like I feel I'm not super sore, but like my mind and my body are tired at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the way like I've been talking to like CJ and Haley about their training. They're like, I just kind of feel like I'm not super sore and banged up, but like I'm just like fatigued.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the best way to describe it. Cause you're conditioning, you're going for longer miles running, ground and pound, feet hitting the ground. And then you got to keep up with the strength so you can push a sled, pull it.
Yeah.
Even your sandbag lunges, like you got to have the strength and the stamina to go the distance.
Yeah.
So it's an interesting dynamic. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things that are incorporated into the Hyrox, but it's really a running race. So you run 1 kilometer, so it's almost a half a mile. Right? You run a mile, you do a ski erg, So you run a mile or a half mile in between
Yeah.
all these different exercises. And there's a ski erg, there's a sled push, sled pull, burpee broad jumps, walking lunges, farmer's carry, wall balls, rowing.
That's it right there.
I think
So
that's it,
it's
with a
8,
run in between.
yeah, it's 8 kilometers by 8 exercises. So there's,
Yeah.
you run you open it with that first kilometer, you go to your first station, which is a ski. I think we almost had the order right there.
Yeah.
It's somewhere
Well.
close. You were hitting it. I was like, yeah. I was gonna see if you were gonna miss any, but you nailed them all. But you hit your kilometer and then you go right to the next exercise, kilometer exercise. So it's functional, but you have to keep moving. So your engine is running hot the whole time, especially when you're competing for time.
Yep.
And that's what's so powerful and also like trainable, if you will, is because you can record your times, you can improve them, you can also train, have different strategies and methods to improve that time.
Yeah.
By doing repeats. And then also, like, we just did a sled workout. We did sled repeats. I actually kind of messed up the meters because our turf out there is actually like 20 meters. And for some reason, I thought it was 10. So I kind of killed these guys this weekend. So I'm like, so basically we started with like 2 plates on the sled. We go down, we hit what I thought was 10 meters. We actually did 20, and then we rest for a minute.
Yeah.
So the first 2 rounds, in total, we did 6 rounds. The first 2 were with 2 plates, and we had a minute of rest. And then the third and the fourth, we added more weight, but we had 90 seconds of rest. And then the last 2 rounds was the heaviest working sets. We had 2 minutes of rest in between.
Yep.
So we're really loading that repetitive motion with appropriate rest time in between. So that's how we're starting to build the strength and the stamina for the sled.
Around that specific exercise.
Correct.
Because each exercise has its own set of skills that it takes and its own requirements that it taxes the body in a certain way. So, it's interesting. The sled push is definitely the one that beats me up the worst.
Washed me the first time around.
It's really hard to catch my breath after that. My heart rate just skyrockets. So that's, most of the other things I'm good with. It was burpees and sled push that was my weakest part out of all those exercises. So my training has been kind of focused on doing more of those, so I get used to it. But at the end of the day, it's really high intensity interval training. And when we talk about that versus all the other styles that we previously discussed, we're talking about bumping up our heart rate to zone 5, getting it way up there, high intensity, and then having a period of recovery, whether that's dropping back down to zone 2 or like you guys were doing like a full 2 minutes of rest, so you're fully recovered back down to like 0 or 1 and then going at it. When you do the Hyrox, you're not really having a chance to recover. You recover during the runs a little bit. And the idea is after you do that high intensity exercise, a sled push, pull, burpees, whatever, that you try to bring your heart rate down on the run. Or you blast on the run and take your time with the exercises. So there's different methods to it.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I realized after competing for the first time, I definitely was underprepared in certain exercises. I did well on the runs, and I actually placed top 10 overall time-wise on the wall balls. So like at the end, like the wall balls at the last exercise, so like you just kind of black out and just go. Like, you're just like you see the finish line, you can see it there, and you're like, all right, I just have to get these done, and you're already so taxed, it doesn't even matter. It's just kind of like the buyout. It's like, all right, let me just send it. But the running, I'd say majority of the competition is running. You're going to say have energy left in the tank if you are conditioned to run. Because most people will be able to do this competition. It just, if you're really competing for time, it's going to vary obviously with how conditioned you are, but there are methods that you have to take into consideration of building strength, doing your strength training, and also factoring in your runs. So maybe we should jam a little bit about like how that training style looks like, because we kind of went over like what the competition is. What we're doing now.
So, like I said, it's high intensity interval training, I think, is the best way to go about training for this. And even if you're not training for a Hyrox, you can still do high intensity interval training. And I'll tell you, it is a very quick, efficient way to get conditioned, right? I mean, I'm building muscle, I'm leaning out just from this high intensity interval training. So again, what that is jacking your heart rate up with whatever it is. It could be a run sprinting, it could be a row sprinting, it could be kettlebell swings, whatever it is, for a certain period of time. Mostly it's like a Tabata, which would be, a period of time on and a period of time off.
Yep.
So you're jacking your heart rate up, and then the goal is to recover as quickly as you can in a short amount of time so that you can attack it again. And that's the goal. And that's a great method for group classes. You know, you see high intensity interval training gyms all over the place, right? I think where we work and, you know, our gyms are more strength and conditioning, but we still throw in interval training all the time, intervals and Tabatas and stuff like that.
Yeah, 100%. And most people don't get that type of conditioning in, like, or they're never going to, especially if you're just like a new gym goer, like, it's probably pretty intimidating to be like, all right, I'm going to just like go really hard for a quick burst of energy and then try to rest. Like, most people are apprehensive to that style of training because there's some misnomers of like injury and so like how to do it correctly. So like some different methods, like you can mess around with the templates and the times, but something we do a lot here is we do like a 15-second, like 45-second rest, like 15 seconds high intensity, a lot of energy, 45-second rest, rotate, even like a 30-30 or even like a 20-20. You can get really creative with the modality that you use with the time. And the intensity also matters too. So when we say like high intensity, and we're talking about like anaerobic, that's just like you're doing an exercise that doesn't really require oxygen. So think of like if you're going for a marathon runner, they're huffing and puffing using the lungs. Like when you're going anaerobic power and you're doing something really fast, like a med ball slam, slamming it hard into the ground, you're not using oxygen to fuel that exercise. So your heart rate actually is going to spike afterwards. So if you notice that too, like let's say you do like a hard bike sprint, you're going hard on the assault bike for like 15-20 seconds. It's not all that challenging. You're going to feel it in your muscles in your body, but your heart rate's going to start like creeping up afterwards. So you got to be cognizant of your conditioning level and how you attack more of a HIIT workout.
I would say that it's not necessarily for beginners. You know, you don't want to go fresh off the couch and jump into a high intensity interval class. You can, and you can just modify the intensity, right? Maybe not go as hard as the rest of the class or whatever. But in general, if you're just brand new to working out, I would suggest basic strength and conditioning first. Get your body kind of used to working out and being active. And then you can start to amp it up with these things. But I'll tell you, like, since I started doing this, I was never really a big HIIT guy. I mean, I've gone through phases. My thing is always yoga and functional training, and that's really what I've been doing. But since I've been doing this, man, I'm seeing my muscles popping more. I'm getting a little more lean since I'm eating clean too. Like it's very effective at eliciting change. Physically.
And that's the thing, like there's a big misconception with doing cardio. If you're like a gym bro listening to this, like cardio kills your gains. That's false. You actually will recover faster. You actually will grow from it. You're supplying the muscles and the tissues with better blood supply, better oxygen getting into your system. So like you actually grow off it. Every time I start running and getting back into more of this style of training at this capacity, which is like training for the intensity is a lot higher, I always lean out. I feel like I'm building muscle. The one thing that I notice is like my strength does tip a little bit on typical lifts. Like, like we're talking typical strength training exercises like a trap bar deadlift or a squat. That comes down because there's a lot of ground and pound with running. So I feel like the joints take a little bit of a hit there.
That, and you know, we talked about it being systemically fatiguing. You know, if you do a really hard HIIT workout and then try to lift heavy the next day, your body's still in recovery mode. You're not going to have that nervous system firing on all cylinders to be able to do the heavy lifts as efficiently as you could if you were fully rested.
100%.
So, you know, it is very taxing, but it is very, very good at eliciting strength. And you can do your own high intensity interval trainings. Really what it is, interval training. It's in the name. So like he said, you know, set a timer, 40 seconds on, 20 seconds off, whatever it is, and then do 4 exercises for 4 rounds.
Easy.
You know, pick any 4, something that's going to be total body oriented, like kettlebell swings, burpees, thrusters, squat presses, you know, something like that, where your whole body's being used for that full period of time on, and then you're resting and recovering. And that really does, it just jacks things up and brings them down. And that is a good skill. We talk about longevity, right? The ability to bring your heart rate down after a bout of intensity is associated with longevity. So
True
what helps
conditioning.
with that's true conditioning, right?
Yeah.
So what helps with that is a little bit of a mix of power, speed, and strength, but also your endurance training. So going on runs, or even interval training within a run, say
Hmm.
run a mile just to warm up and then do half-mile sprints or quarter-mile sprints,
Yep.
and then just allowing your body to recover, come back down. All that stuff is going to affect the efficiency of your heart,
Hmm.
right? And your cardiovascular system, and the ability to recover faster is, kind of the goal.
Yeah, 100%. And like when it comes to the, I'd say the intensity of it too, monitoring that is super, super
Yeah.
important because typically with these workouts, you want to you go hard and you don't know what your heart is. Like
Yeah.
what is actually your max threshold. That's
Yeah.
why a piece of like a tool or a piece of equipment is really resourceful is an Apple Watch or like a heart rate monitor. See what
Mhm.
your heart rate gets up to. Like what exercises get you to zone 5. Like
Yeah.
for your true max heart rate zone so you can stay there for the allotted amount of time. That's why you and I have been talking about Morpheus, and like I
Yeah.
use it when I'm up at Reba's gym, and
Yep.
I'm literally watching it and see what zones I'm in
Yeah.
during the class, and it's really cool to get that feedback. Because if you truly want to take your training to the next level without crushing yourself, you can work within those zones because you can get that biofeedback a
Yeah.
lot faster. You can collect the data and be like, okay, today is going to be like, let's just say you wake up and your resting heart rate is high,
Yeah.
right? But you have a high intensity training program scheduled for that day.
Hmm.
Might not be the best idea because a true sign of fatigue, systemic fatigue too, is your resting heart rate. So be cognizant of where your resting heart rate is because you might have to shift and alter your
Yeah.
schedule a little bit. That's smart training.
Yeah.
I've done that before. I remember I think it was last year. I was flying to Seattle and I was jazzed up. I didn't sleep well the couple nights prior, and I was just my training was on point. I was feeling good, but I woke up and I could feel like my heart rate was just like pumping as soon as I woke up, and I'm like I had planned to do like a strength training type of workout, and I'm like that's probably not a good idea. I
Yeah.
walked on the treadmill, on an incline. I kept it at like zone 2, and I felt way better.
Yeah.
And a lot of times in the past, when I've woken up like that, I just powered through. I've gotten sick or I'm
Yeah.
just feeling like way worse the next like 3 to 4 days after. It's just taking me longer to recover.
Yeah.
So that's also really important to know is getting some feedback through some tools, some equipment, heart rate monitors, and also just knowing your body and knowing to build up because that's where a lot of people go wrong is like they jump into HIT training too soon, too fast
Yeah.
and they get burnt out and they're like, oh, it's just not for me, or I'm way too beat up.
Yeah. I think if you've listened to all 4 episodes, a common theme is recovery, right?
Talking about it this weekend, event here at the gym.
Yeah.
This probably won't get out until after we host the event, but I'm talking about how real results requires real recovery.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're talking about after your workout and then within your workout too. So
Hmm.
after the work, we do high intensity interval training. It is very taxing on the body in a different way than powerlifting would be taxing on your body or hypertrophy training. It's
Hmm.
it's just different, right? Everything's a little bit different. So to go back to back, 2 or 3 days doing the high intensity interval training, if your body is not fully recovered, it's really not worth it to go and try
Yeah.
and do it again because you're just going to beat yourself into the ground because it is such an intense taxation of the nervous system.
Hmm.
You kind of want to spread those workouts out. So for example, myself, I do 2 hit training classes a week. My Sunday one is usually when I've kind of been beat up from the week.
Yeah.
So my Sunday one was a little less intense. I dial it back. I don't, if she says try to go for 3 rounds, I'll go for 2.
Yeah.
I'll still go through the motion. I'll still do all the work. I'll still push heavy things and whatever, but I'm just dialing it back a little bit so that I don't push myself too hard. And then by Tuesday, I feel fully recovered and I'm able to go a little bit harder on Tuesday. And then I'll throw in like a run or some splits or something like that.
Yeah.
That's how I program my week out. So if you're thinking about adapting a hit training protocol, give yourself some space, maybe 2, 3 days a week, with space in between. but also recovery within the workout is kind of like we were talking about the name of
Yeah.
the game here. So having something, some sort of feedback, whether it's a watch or a MyZone or a
Hmm.
Morpheus or whatever it is that will give you your heart rate so that you have a number to associate with the way you feel. For me, I don't wear wearables. I probably should.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty, and after years of training, I'm pretty intuitive. And I know when my heart rate's up at like 180, that's my max, right? 180.
Hmm.
I know when it's up there that, okay, bring it down before you get going again. So that's kind of the name of the game. But if you have a wearable, you're able to see that, okay, I'm not going to go again until it's down to
Hmm.
140 or 150,
Right.
you know?
And that's a good way to use it. And I'm glad you bring that up because let's say you are doing a high intensity interval workout. Maybe it's you're doing 20 seconds on, 40 seconds off. Watch and see like as soon as you get done with that 20 seconds, like keep an eye on your heart rate and see where you get to. Maybe before you might actually have to extend your time period. Maybe it's
Yeah.
20 on, maybe it's a minute off.
Yeah.
And see if you can get your heart rate back down and see how efficient. That's why like Morpheus is great. I'm gonna promote Morpheus so hard right here because I've been wearing the heart rate strap and it attaches to it's an app on the phone. So it's annoying when I'm running, but like I watch it, but I can see it. So like
Yeah.
I can know if I'm push my pace and my stride gets a little bit further, my heart rate starts to come up.
Yep.
I can literally see myself tipping into like the high 150s, 160s, and I bring it back down. Like the I want to get into more like that zone 3, kind of just like
Yeah.
endurance phase, the last run. So I kept it right around like 155, 160. You can see like you get the report too, and it's just like consistent all the way through versus a high intensity interval. It's like bang, 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 bang,
Yeah.
up and down.
Yeah.
And there's two ways to really track your overall conditioning just as you as a person. Heart rate variability is one. See what your resting heart rate is when you wake up, and then also how fast can you get your heart rate back
Yeah.
down after you
Yeah.
get it high. But then you can challenge the threshold. This is where it gets interesting is, let's say, when you're doing a higher intensity workout, can you also withstand that higher zone for a longer period of time
Yeah.
and then bring it down? So
Yeah.
there's different metrics you can track, but I think a great place to start is let's just get my heart rate up high and then how fast can I bring it down
Yeah.
and measure that time in between those exercises, the exercise and the rest.
Yeah. That's going to be the greatest indicator,
Yeah,
the greatest marker for your health, your conditioning level at that time,
100%.
and your cardiovascular health at that time. Ability to bring that heart rate down is
Yeah.
crazy. And it also gives you a tool to look at, your progress throughout it. Because I know myself, I'm slowly pushing the needle, but right now I have about 40 minutes, 45 minutes of good solid work in me
Hmm.
before I start to deteriorate and break
Yeah.
down, especially when the classes that I'm doing or the workouts I'm doing are a lot more of the exercise portion focused. So we'll do sled push and pull right into burpees, right into walking lunges. Now, if I had a run, like a long run in between there to
Hmm.
lower my heart rate down,
Yeah.
that would enable me to go longer,
Right.
right? But since it's intensity after intensity after
Hmm.
intensity, my heart rate stays elevated and I can't go as
Right.
long, right? So having the tool to be able to see and then and I just do that intuitively. I just know when my heart rate's up for that long,
Hmm.
I don't have as the longevity that I would have if I was able to bring it up and down.
Yeah, and there's the consistency too with side that building that intuition is
Yeah.
also powerful. Like we've been training a long time, so it's like
Yeah.
we know that. But if you are consistent with a routine,
Yeah.
right, you can actually feel like, okay, I'm doing the same movement patterns. Let's say it is like an 8 or 12 week. 12 weeks is a great place to start. You're consistently doing the same movement patterns and maybe the same intensities. And are you improving? Am I feeling better throughout the circuit?
Yeah.
As simple as that. Like it doesn't have to be all these metrics. I don't want to get lost in the metrics, but
Yeah.
it does, like as you get deeper in the game and you really want to take it, like let's say if you are competing for Hyrox, like I have a time.
Yeah.
The blessing and the curse of me doing one already is like I have a time and I'm competitive, so I want to go
Oh
beat
yeah.
it.
You want to beat that time.
I don't
Yeah.
care if it's even by a second, but like
Yep.
I want to beat that time, and
Yeah.
that's my thing.
Yeah. So if you're training for an event, whether it's a Spartan race or a high rocks or any kind of competition like that, you know about how long it's going to take you. And then you want to be able to work for that long,
Yeah,
right, with your workout. So, um, they say it averages about 130. My partner and I are trying to go
time.
for
Okay, yeah.
115,
Mm-hmm.
an hour and 15 minutes. That's a long time to be working out, right? That's a long time. Our
Yeah.
classes are about an hour with a ton of rest. So really, it's about 45 minutes of work.
Yeah.
So that's, a big jump from
Mm-hmm.
115 to 45. That's a half an hour jump
Yeah.
of work. So, I want to be able to build myself to a point where I can work for an hour and a half consistently without getting fatigued. And that's not easy. I'm working my way
You got
up.
to build it.
Yeah.
That's the first time I did it, like I said, the 6 weeks was just ambitious. Like I was just in that mindset. But now I've had 12 to really 16 weeks to train for it. And I definitely have a better strategy. I feel more conditioned. I
Yeah.
mean, only time will tell once we actually
Sure.
get out on the course. But yeah, it's definitely something to keep an eye on is like also your duration. Like when you get deeper into, let's say those workouts. I mean, Reba, listen, they're tough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reba's workouts are tough.
Yeah.
They're no joke. So like I remember there's been a couple of her training sessions I got done. I'm like, damn,
Yeah.
I feel really like I am cooked. And then there's some where I just felt like I was like on top of the world.
Yeah.
So being very, like I said, being the intuition has to be there with how
Yeah.
you're feeling and how you're training. And that comes with time. But man, that's such a skill set and it's a
Yeah.
power.
Yeah.
It's powerful when you actually can feel how you feel.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting really in touch with how you
Yeah.
feel. And, not to get too off topic, but I was thinking to myself the other day, like, I am a pretty sensitive person, physically, mentally. Like, I really feel things deeply. And, if my body is beat up, if I'm super sore or maybe I've just been sitting too much,
Yep.
I start to feel it mentally.
Big time.
Right. So, and that's just a gift and a curse. It's a skill though, to be able to tap into my physical and mental and see where I'm at and then know what I need to do. Right. So like I said, if I'm feeling fatigued or super tired,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still going to go to the gym. I'm still going to do that super hard class, but I'm going to dial it back, my
Yeah.
intensity, and I'm still doing the work. I'm still getting some work in. Right. And not every high intensity class has to be super high intense.
Yeah.
Your 100% today might not be what it was yesterday or the week before, but you're still going to go in and give 100% of what you have that day.
Yeah. That's a philosophy that should be ran for life, especially when it
Yeah.
comes to training, is like, just give what you have.
Yeah.
Simple enough. Like if you only have 60% of the tank, if you give 60%, that's enough for that day.
Yep.
Simple enough.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time in the gym, but especially with a competition, let's say you are gearing up for something like this. If you've never done it before, you're going just to compete and just like have fun with it. Like, yo, just complete it.
Yeah.
Complete it.
Yeah.
Just complete it.
You don't need to add any more mental stress to the physical stress that
Yeah.
you're going to put yourself under. Really. I mean, some people are super competitive. I don't think I really am. I mean, I like to compete, to push myself, but I don't get drawn up in or caught up in the like the time
Yeah.
or whatever. Like I have to do the sled push in 30 seconds or else I'm a failure my whole life. Whatever. Like no.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go out there and do what I can. I think it's gonna be good to do my first one with a partner. You can split reps.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So that makes it a lot easier. So you're actually getting more recovery time. If you're an individual doing it solo, the rest time you get is coming off the clock,
That's it.
right? If you're stopping,
Yeah.
that's coming off the clock. So if you're super competitive, you're not going to want to stop, which means you're going to be high heart rate all the time. So that's another level, right?
Blessing the curse for me, dude.
With a partner, let's say Mike and I were partners, we have to run together. You have to do all the runs. But let's say we get off our run and we're approaching the burpees. I can do 5 burpees.
Mhm.
He'll jump in and do 5 burpees. While he's doing his, I'm recovering.
Yep.
So you get a little bit of that recovery time in between each one, and it helps to move a lot faster.
Yeah, 100%.
Take some of the pressure off.
Yeah, I'd like to, eventually I'll do doubles. I'm going back to doing a solo.
Yeah.
Another one. So I'm just like, all right, I told myself this year is one of my goals. I like to set like a physical goal, a mental goal, just different areas of my life, just one thing, just a small lift system at the beginning of the year. And one was to compete. And I'm like, all right, Hyrox it is.
Yeah.
I'm in New York City. So I'm just competing within myself and then just seeing what we can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think competition is healthy. I think it drives people to do better. Like I said, I'm not very competitive, but at the same time, yesterday we were doing a Hyrox training, and Reba's brother Weldon was kind of just ahead of me, like 10 feet ahead of me in the run to start, and then towards the end,
Yeah.
I caught up to him and I started
Mm.
sprinting, and then he started sprinting, and
Yeah.
it was like, I don't know, 50 yards sprint. And he's like, you fucker, you got me.
Exactly. It just naturally comes out of you. Like
Yeah.
our innate human nature is to compete, especially when you're in a crowd. Like your adrenaline's gonna be pumping when you're at the start line and they're counting down the time, 3, 2, and like the
Yeah.
gates open.
Yeah.
Hey, you're pumping like, because this is it. This is what you've trained for. This is why you're here, and it's like go time. So
Yeah. And that's an important piece too that I'd like to talk about. I mean, we talk about, knowing where you're at before you go into a workout. Pacing yourself throughout these high intensity things, I think, is important, because you might feel amazing, 100%. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to crush this thing. And then you go super hard out of the gate and you give everything you have in that first 15 minutes, and then you're cooked for the rest of the race. Right. So, especially when you have all these people screaming and cheering and 3, 2, 1, go. And then you just start ripping it, and then you burn out, So pacing yourself throughout these things is super important. Just because the clock is running let's say there's 40 seconds on the clock and you got to do burpees for 40 seconds, doesn't mean you have to try to get 50 burpees in, just do your thing, pace yourself. And then, you can slowly ramp up and see where you're at, and week by week get better. Don't think about getting better within that workout.
That brings me to the seminar we just went to. Mike Boyle said, or someone said at the conference, was like, I'm a human being, not a human doing. So it's like you have to adjust and be adaptable in the constraint of the workout, but you don't have to be so robotic. And that's just not it's not realistic.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it. I feel more than ever. I mean, as we start to like creep up in age just a little bit, like I still got that jump, I still got the gusto, but recovery takes if my sleep is not on point, if I'm not getting 7.5 to like 8, I'm struggling a little bit with how hard I'm training too, especially in this time of life. So it's like the 12 weeks, narrow focus, like, okay, I know I'm competing, so you can do it. That's the important part of a challenge throughout the year and competing. Whether you're just competing or completing, you have to hone in. I think it's super important just to dial specific metrics in your sleep, nutrition. It doesn't have to be on point all the time, but that builds the skill set and it challenges you. That's how we grow as humans, is to compete under pressure. And that pressure is a privilege to be able to, we get to do it. You know what I mean? So like sign yourself up for it. Everyday life doesn't set most of us up for that competition nature. Once you leave high school or college, if you weren't playing a collegiate sport, like you kind of have to create your own competition and put these stresses in place, because as you see, like most Americans and just most of the population, like as we get into adulthood, like those normal stressors are not there. Competition, just all those things. So it's like you have to kind of seek it a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you're someone watching this and you're just like, you're looking for something, this is a great competition to enroll in, where you can do it. It's very taxing, it's challenging. And if you're just going to complete it, who cares what your time is? Like you can do it.
That's what I think is nice about this one is, I think it kind of stemmed out of CrossFit. And CrossFit was very intimidating for a lot of people, because you see these huge men and women just like lifting crazy weights, and it's just intimidating, right? And Hyrox is very approachable. Something like a Spartan race is very approachable. I've done Spartan races where I've seen, people of all shapes and sizes completing these things, and it's really nice to have something approachable to set that goal and to finish. Like you said, I think a lot of people don't do that. We talked about in episode 1, having a goal and completing it, including all these steps to completing the goal. It builds your confidence, it builds your self-efficacy, right? And so, you're getting better at something, whatever it is, whatever goal it is, you're getting better. You're hitting these benchmarks. And I think that's just super important in life, whether it's physical or mental or career-wise, whatever it is.
And you're exactly right. I'm glad you touched on this, is because the benefits of doing something, you don't feel it right away, but once you get over it and you do complete it, man, your confidence goes through the roof. Your self-awareness of what you can actually do is boosted. You have a positive outlook. Like you just did something. There's nothing better than just checking that box of just being accomplished, like mission complete, success. And I think that's really important to note too. And going back to like what you said, the first episode, we talked about having a goal and then also the why. So if you're in a place right now where you're feeling low, your self-esteem is low, I feel like I have no energy, I'm tired, like put yourself in an uncomfortable position.
Yeah.
I'm constantly doing that in my life. I have more of that just like type A mentality where I'm constantly trying to get better, and it's also like doesn't seem like enough.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just the truth of the matter.
Yep.
And
Pros and cons.
I try to give myself like some space and grace, but like I'm always trying to level up, and I don't always realize how far I've come. That's just a different type of mentality.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you're not constantly doing these things, I believe in the law of slight edge, which is like you're either growing or you're dying. Like
Yeah.
you're either, there's no like stagnation. Like even if you've been coaching, like we've been coaching for a long time, but who's to say, who's there to judge that we've been coaching well for a long time?
Yeah.
So obviously we have metrics and how we associate our success, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, like you got to have that innate like mindset to get better and also get a feedback loop so you can see the results,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all about pushing yourself to be better. And I think, at least in our gym, and probably with the whole Hyrox community, I know I saw it a lot in Spartan races, the community that
Mm-hmm.
comes together, like everybody's there for a reason. And, the person next to you might not be as fit as you, or they might be more fit than you, but none of that it doesn't matter,
Yeah.
right? Everybody's there encouraging you to be your best version of yourself. And I think surrounding yourself with that kind of support system and that type of community helps you just achieve those smaller goals and to step towards the big one, and helps just support you and cheerlead you on your way. So I can't speak enough about that and how important finding a good community is,
It's huge.
because it's hard to do it all on your own.
Mhm.
It's hard to stay motivated, but when you know that you're going to go to a place and everybody's going to know your name and everybody's going to help cheer you on and
Mhm.
you know, like I said, promote you to be that best version of yourself and keep you accountable. And,
Yeah.
like I said,
Support.
just racing with Weldon, like he's a great motivator.
Yeah.
Just to have somebody that goes hard and like knows where you're at and is going to push you a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's huge.
So he brought that out maybe in you a little bit in that
Yeah.
in that case, because it's like he's pushing it and you're like, you see him, it's like, okay, like
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a good thing that he's training with me today.
100%. And it doesn't come from a place of like, I need to be better than him. It's just like,
Yeah, it's
let's
pushing
go.
you.
Let's
Right.
go.
I think that's what the Hyrox does a really good job of, is they have really cultivated an awesome community where it is that it's like anyone can compete. You see people that are in wheelchairs and that are
Yeah.
like paraplegic, or like
Yeah.
they're like, there's just all ages types of people competing, and they're welcoming all of that, and it's
Yeah.
super, super encouraging to see. I mean, there's like, I think like there was an older gentleman that was like 80 years old or something that completed it. It's
Yeah.
like, that's
Oh, yeah.
insane. Like
Yeah.
that's incredible. You got
Yep.
someone who's like in their 70s and 80s completing that. Not only are they probably shooting for a time, but like they're just completing it. They're just
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah. All shapes and ages and
Yeah.
sizes, everything. One of the most powerful things that happened to me one time during a Spartan race was, those are tough. I
Yeah.
think I did, the longest one I did was a beast, and that was a half marathon up and down Killington. But I think this was a 10K race that I did on this particular occasion, where there was a man in a wheelchair and he had a whole team around him, matching shirts, everything. And we're approaching this hill through the woods where it's like a windy, rough roots and rocks and everything.
Yep.
And they were at the bottom of the hill with this guy. And they're like, all right, we're going to carry his ass up the hill. And that's just so powerful. It was like
Yeah.
so the
Motivating.
human nature and just people coming together to support this guy and get him through this race. Like, it's just so powerful. It almost brought me to tears, man. It was crazy.
It's cool. And like that's what you get. I mean, like you said, as we adventure into adulthood, we don't have that as much.
Yeah.
It's super important
Yeah.
is the connection with other human beings, and you get that in the fitness industry. And that's what we want to cultivate. If you you've had an adverse experience, I feel bad for you, but like that's just not how it should be. It should be uplifting, a safe place. Everyone's welcome. It's like you're here one mission. If you're inside, that's why I tell people, especially in our gym, like you're inside these four walls. Like we're here on one mission together. I don't care what you look like, who you are. Like let's get it done. Let's rock.
That's the value of sports in general,
Yeah.
or fitness or whatever. In jiu-jitsu, it's kind of funny. You have like stoners and cops, like ex-cons and cops, and they pull them together, and all that shit goes out the window.
It's so
and
true.
we're equal in here, and just supporting each other and trying to get better.
Yeah. And now that you say that, actually, it's like, because I did jujitsu for about 3 years, and it's like, I look back and I'm like, that is exactly the demographic of people.
It's a wide range, and often opposite ends of the spectrum, but you come together in these four walls, and everybody's equal, and
on the mat,
great.
the playing field is equal.
Yeah.
It's like you're just there to do the art, the skill,
Yeah.
right? And which is so powerful. Yeah, it's
Yeah. And
cool.
I think that's why wellness is trending. I know we're getting off topic, but I think wellness is trending super hard right now. I'm seeing a lot of like social groups, social fitness, wellness groups
Yeah.
coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Gen Z and Gen Alpha are not drinking as much,
Mm-hmm.
and they're all about health and wellness. And,
Yeah.
you know, for better or worse, you're seeing like protein and everything,
Yeah,
and like
right. Yeah.
fitness trends are really popping. And I do think that that's a good thing. I think that marketing and business runs away with it, but you know, I think it's great that it's so popular right
Yeah,
now. And races and organizations like Hyrox are really capitalizing on that. And
big time.
it's a good thing to bring people together. I think it's funny though. Hyrox has like a dating app. They've got they do,
Really?
yeah,
I
it's
didn't know
funny.
about that.
They've got a
What?
dating app. They've got the affiliate gym program,
Yep, yep,
which
it's huge.
you know, Battleground is a part of that. But you essentially you pay to be an affiliate. Your coaches have to go through a training program that's facilitated by them. And then you know, they have their own line of merch. They've got all this stuff, races all over the place.
Shout out to Puma. They got in there. They got in
Yeah.
there.
I mean,
Like,
it's smart. There's so much money in this stuff. I mean,
it's
if you think
insane.
about all the affiliate gyms across this town, this area, there's like 6. And now every town across America, across the
It's
world,
all over.
it's like bringing in so much
I
money.
mean, just New York City alone, if you think about it, I think the average ticket price is like between $300 and $400, depending if you're doing doubles or singles. I mean, I think
Yeah.
mine was like $350 plus like the sport photo package.
Yeah.
Think about that. I mean,
Yeah.
they're up in like the $9 to $12 million range just for that event alone,
Yeah.
which is insane. I mean, it is the cool part about High Rocks too is the efficiency of the business model. They're not
Yeah.
changing a bunch of things. As you guys know, like we talked about this in the last couple episodes, like without changing your workout so much, like it's
Yeah.
uniform
Yeah.
and it's repeatable,
Yeah.
and they're building upon it and they're just letting it compound and letting it snowball in a positive way, which is super powerful.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you right now, they're not even close to done. I mean, we'll be an affiliate gym. Like
Yeah.
after this race, I want to talk to another representative like I did before, and get it going as well and bring more of that in this area. And like you just said too, I know we're kind of all over the place, but there is a lot more of the social wellness
Yeah.
events happening.
Yeah.
And it's just they've built such a strong culture and community that says miles. Like High
Yeah.
Rocks dating app, like
Yeah.
yo, if you do High Rocks, like let's
Let's link
chat,
up.
let's
Yeah.
link up,
Yeah.
let's chat, let's have a
Yeah.
conversation.
It's cool.
And it is really cool. And I think that that's the power of fitness in general. It's
Yeah.
just cool. You can see everyone come together in uniform.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's cool.
Yeah. I think the whole wellness industry is beefing up, and I'm really a big fan of that. You know, it's good for us business
Yeah.
wise, you know,
Yeah.
but it's also just good for our community. It's good for the world. I think the healthy body, healthy mind, the two to go together so well. Like I was saying, like pretty sensitive to if one or the other is off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can tell, and so I know what I need to do is usually like get a workout or calm myself down with some meditation or something. And I think it's good that, you know, past few years there's been a lot of focus on mental health, and I think that's great. But now we're looking at the total package.
Yeah.
So you know, things like what we're doing in this podcast, like it's just really good to get this information out there so that more people can come across it and live better lives, healthier lives, like know what to do with themselves when if they're feeling down, if they're feeling sluggish, if they're feeling out of shape. You know, it all ties together. Like I said, if I don't work out or I sit
Mhm.
for too long, like even at that seminar, I was sitting for
Yeah.
so long, I felt jacked up and my mood was down, and you know, I didn't really know what to
Emotions
do.
are like this.
Yeah.
You get up, walk around, you feel okay, and then you sit down, and you're like,
Yeah. Think about when you eat a crappy meal. Like
yeah.
if you're on the go and you have to grab
Mhm.
something and it's not great, you feel down, you feel bloated and like, ugh, gross.
Yeah.
So those little things, I think if everybody just took some time to work out in a smart way,
Mm-hmm.
built consistency, followed the programming that we've just laid out, wherever you're at on the spectrum, if you're a beginner or if you're an athlete, you know, keep going, start or keep
Yeah.
going. Just keep up with it because it's better on this side. You know, if you've ever been in pain, suffering from an injury, or
Mhm.
just, you know, out of shape, depressed, sitting on the couch, overweight, eating junk, that sucks.
Yeah.
It really sucks mentally, physically, you know, and when you start building a healthy habits routine, everything in life just opens up. Your mental, your everything just doors open everywhere.
Yeah, it's true. And I think a good way to wrap this one up is like, I think I just posted this not too long ago, but Tony Robbins said something like, you you live the life that you focus on. It's like in the better focus you have, the more energy you have, the more fulfilling it is. When we talk about longevity way back in the beginning, that's why we're getting this information out there between all the different types of modalities of training
Yep.
and the mental wellness and just your overall health as a human being is super important. But at the end of the day, if you don't have energy and you don't have, say, the ambition to go do things, like that's going to compile to be your life. So it's
Yeah.
like when you're looking back at chapters, that's why I say each year I want to have like one milestone event, because each year I look back, I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? And if you're looking back at the years of your life right now and you're like, well, I haven't done anything in a couple of years, you're just writing a page every single day in the chapter book of your life. And
Yeah.
the only person that can change that is you. So if you start taking initiative and working out and training and you have all the resources in the community around you, not only are you going to be more fulfilled with connection but you're also going to have a better self of identity and self-awareness. So your life just gets better with this stuff. And I'm
Yeah.
convicted beyond belief in that fitness and health, being conscious of mental health and just eating better has changed my life and has opened up all the doors to what I'm doing now, and the relationships, even you and I connecting, like
Yep.
through Green Fork, like fitness and then food and nutrition. That's how we got connected.
Yeah.
And we built a strong relationship. I consider you one of my good buds.
Hell yeah, man.
And it's like it opens up doors in all facets of life. That's why
Yeah.
like we're gonna preach this until I'm in the dirt. So
100%. Yeah. I know that a lot of coaches are made coaches by going through tough times, overcoming them,
hmm
establishing healthy habits, and then wanting to share that information. And that's me to a T, right? Like I hit a rock bottom at one point in my life and I was like, all right, turn it around. Got into all these health and wellness things and still battled with it. But, now my ultimate goal is to share what I've learned through podcasting, through coaching, through nutrition, all that stuff. So it can really turn your life around in many more ways than just your physical health. I mean, it's just opening yourself up to a community
yeah.
of people that are trying to do better. Your life will improve 1000% if you just start with a healthy habit
hmm
routine. So, yeah.
Mic drop, baby.
Yeah, I think that's about it. We've covered a lot of different things in this 4-part series, but if you take one thing from it, it's just get started somewhere. We've given you the blueprint here of how to approach it from
hmm
start to finish, and then any avenue you want to take from there. But just get started.
Yep.
Do
Just
something.
give your best. Give everything you have with what you got. Do what you can with what you have.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
All right, brother. It's
All
been a
right.
pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, reach out to either of us. We're both taking on clients,
Mhm.
members. So if you have any questions, just reach out to Mike. His information we'll put in the show notes, or me.
Yep.
Feel free to give us a shout. We're here to help. Thank you so much for listening. Stay healthy, my friends.
Peace out.
Peace.